Hey everyone. So today is the day. Path of Exile Harvest. The next league is upon us. And I wanted to take a closer look at what they released and Ziggy's video, and then we're gonna go over the official website and see what we can find out.
G'day, I'm Ziggy D, and here is Path of Exile Harvest.
Behold the sacred grove.
Sacred
After
Rose.
a league of delirium intensity, things are getting decidedly more cozy. No timers, no clear speed rush. It's time to farm. In Path of Exile's most literal sense of the word to date. Ushabi of the Asmeri has discovered the sacred grove, left behind by an ancient people. The Asmeri people shun superstitious
love
things, so
GGG.
we are her best option in exploring its esoteric power. As we explore the world in
So they usually do this. They take this concept, like they're very courageous in that they don't say no to that many things. If it's like an interesting idea, they will do it. So we've had Tara Defense, and this is our farming simulator. This is interesting.
Harvest, we'll now be able to discover caches containing a variety of seeds. We can collect these seeds and then take them to the sacred grove. In the sacred grove, we'll be able to grow our seeds into beautiful crops of monsters. This is Path of Exile after all. What, did you think we'd be harvesting vegetables? Seeds can be planted however you like in the grove, but you'll want to place collectors nearby to harvest the juicy life force when they bloom. When a harvest is made, we'll be able to use that life force to fuel powerful new crafts. Previous League mechanics have focused on giving players tons of items as they progress, but with Harvest League, running your games is...
Oh my god. Crafting. Okay. Color Newcastle. Oh my god. This is interesting. Look at this one. Augments an item with a new caster modifier. So you have like a specific type of augments.
is trying to shift the dynamic. Monsters from seeds in the grove will drop better loot than regular monsters, but the core reward for this league is from the crafting itself. The philosophy is that rather core reward for this league
Augment item with a new info. Oh. That's something. Feel like we're okay, so they've had a couple of leagues, they attempted good crafting leagues before, but last time it was somewhat of a disaster. It was a very convoluted system. I liked it, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm one of the few people who actually did enjoy it to a certain degree. Not too much, don't get me wrong. But it was enjoyable. The crafting system itself was really nice. The league mechanic was lagging, the thing for me at least. But this is very interesting. Another crafting league. And they're adding more specific type of crafts. Like, this is very powerful. You can get it, like, for SSF, just on top of my head, you get an eye level 86 or something, you 6 link it, and then you get the influence that you need. You can have remove an influence. Yeah, this seems very interesting.
is from the crafting itself. The philosophy is that rather than processing a large number of rares to find good loot, players will be able to...
Oh my god. Look at this. Remove a defense modifier from an item. The meta crafting is going to change with this system if it actually stays in game. Right? Like, how many times did you have like almost perfect rare with just one armor that you really wanted that removed so you can like metacraft? This is what that's for. Now you can actually do something like this. And what he was mentioning, Ziggy, is actually, I completely agree. Our looting system, is really needs an overhaul, and they've acknowledged that before, and they said that they're working on it, and eventually will make a change. They'll make a change. But in this regard, the more targeted crafting systems we have, the less actual just general loot we need to fill the progress. We can craft ourselves, and then we can get something really nice every now and then. So this is a step in the right direction.
to regularly craft themselves powerful upgrades. GGG is aware that if they want to explore turning back constant loot explosions, the
Please
crafting
do,
needs to be
GGG.
very powerful to compete. Crafting, for example, will include options to create new items with specific modifiers, add guaranteed
My. These are very strong craftings.
modifiers to existing items, change sockets, transform currency, and other powerful options for us to discover. Each seed harvested adds a specific crafting option to the collector, as well as some life force. Life force must either be spent to use crafting options or condensed for other purposes in the garden later. When you make a harvest, you'll need to be ready with items to craft, but the good news is that each seed and plant will tell you what sort of crafts it could give. For example,
Let's take a look at one of these things. So this is a tier 3. Consumes 20 primal units. Oh, condensed. This is what Ziggy was talking about, probably. Like you can condense it. Per growth cycle. Requires forages and vivid plants. At least tier 2. So there's like requirements of like multiple tiers. Reveals a random effect that exchanges a specialized currency. That's interesting. Specialized currency, like turning Hunter Exalted over to Crusader, or definitely nothing to Exalt, right? Like because that would have a cascading effect on the economy as a whole.
example, a plant that specifies a physical craft could reforge an item with a physical modifier, add a physical modifier like a powerful Exalted Orb, remove a specific physical modifier like an Annul, or re-roll a physical modifier like a Divine. If you wanted a specific physical craft, you might opt to plant a bunch of the same type of seed to grow for a specific crafting purpose. Each craft costs a set amount of life force, and unused life force can be condensed for irrigation of other seeds. So let's run through the basic how-to for green thumbing it up in Path of Exile Harvest. As you proceed on your travels, collect seeds from seed caches out in the wild. You can go through a portal to the grove right away, or you can hold onto your seeds for planting later. When you're ready to grow, plant your seeds around a collector. Seeds come in 3 types: wild, primal, and vivid. Plant seeds around a collector of the same type so you can harvest their life force when they're grown.
The art
Each
style
seed
is way
takes a
better
number
than the
of growth
previous.
cycles to mature. A growth
Delirium.
cycle occurs every time you open a seed cache out in the wild. So 5 growth cycles would be 5 seed caches.
I see.
Once seeds are fully grown, you can activate the collector to fight the monsters and harvest their life force and access their crafting options. Make sure to condense and store any unused life force for later irrigation. Some condensed life force can be stored in collectors, but condensers can be built to hold larger amounts. Condensed
Okay.
life force cannot be used for crafting, but it's important for growing higher tier seeds.
Oh, so
And
you
on that
cannot
note,
craft with it
seed
anymore.
monsters will sometimes drop tier 2 seeds. These require more complex gardening to grow to maturity. A tier 2 seed may need to be planted alongside other types of seeds to grow, and they need irrigation with condensed life force. For this, you can build dispersers connected via piping to your condensers. These will moisten your seeds with life force as needed for them to grow. This tier 2 primal Rex seed, for example, requires 4 adjacent primal plants, and it needs irrigation with 10 units of wild life force per growth cycle to grow. Tier 2 seeds will offer more powerful rewards, including access to
I
rare
wonder
tier
what
3
happens
seeds.
if you do not have enough.
Gardens
like,
can be
condensed
kept
life
fairly
force.
simple, growing vast quantities of tier 1 seeds, or they can be evolved into sprawling factories growing seeds of different tiers. Players who enjoy games like Factorio will likely go a little bit nuts over complex planning of gardens,
I'm sure.
while others should be able to engage in a simpler, more organic fashion. GGG says they've tried to layer this mechanic in a way that's easy to engage with basic growing, whilst still allowing for more complex garden builds for players who want to take it to the next level. It won't be necessary to constantly engage with your garden either. You can collect
That's
seeds while
great
growth
game
cycles
design.
happen in the
Easy to
background and
engage,
harvest when
hard to
you're ready.
master.
Nothing will die on the vine, and your plants will patiently wait for you to harvest
Okay.
them.
That's
Seeds can
very
also
important.
be stored in dedicated seed storage, so no need to clutter your stash. Players will have precise control
Nice.
over the danger of each fight as well, since you'll know ahead of time which seeds you're planting and which monsters you'll be facing. For those wanting a challenge, dozens of plants can be harvested at once, and tier 2 and 3 seeds will offer more dangerous monsters and boss fights. There'll be one boss fight for each of the 3 types of tier 3 seeds: primal, wild, and vivid.
Yeah.
It's also rumored that there is a rare 4th boss to be discovered. GGG
Rumored.
wants to shake things up a bit with Harvest. It's a very different pace compared to Delirium, with
Yeah.
elements of the build-your-own-encounter gameplay explored in Metamorph. There's a lot less emphasis on being flooded with item drops here, and instead we're being offered what is said to be the most advanced league crafting system to date. A simple
For
mechanic
sure.
at Tier 1, along with tradable seeds that have all of their relevant information available in-game, is aimed at getting everyone interacting with it at least on some level. Of course, Gardening League is not the only thing coming to Path of Exile in this expansion.
Of course.
So let's take a look at the new and reworked skills, passive skill tree changes, and new and reworked uniques coming alongside Harvest.
That ghost.
First up, two-handed melee is getting some much-needed love. Big, slow attacks have often found themselves at the short end of the stick, despite their usage of really big sticks. Two-handed weapon types
They really
are getting
do
buffed,
need a little
and
bit
passive
of a
skill
buff.
tree support is being improved. Several melee skills have also now been recategorized as slam skills and reworked, enabling further heavy-hitting support. A lot of these changes will help one-handed weapons as well, but the focus here is on buffing two-handed attack styles. Fist of War is the new support gem for slam skills that sees a spirit supercharge your slam, adding a large amount of damage and AoE to the attack.
Nice.
It has a cooldown, so it works a lot better with slower hitting skills like Earthquake, where it'll activate on most of your attacks.
You need to check the
Tectonic
numbers
Slam
to
has
see
been
like the
reworked as
damage
well,
increases.
now only
enough or
consuming an
not.
endurance charge every 3 attacks, but scaling its area of effect based on your current total endurance charges. Stacking a large number of endurance charges is now more impactful, and maintaining endurance charges is easier, with the attacks being more consistent overall.
I'm not even sure if that would be enough, to be honest with you. Like,
Warcries
needs a
are
little
also
more.
seeing a large host of changes. 4 new Warcry skills are being added, and the
Wow.
3 existing ones are being overhauled. In general, Warcries are being made slower, but much more impactful, and more passive skill tree investment options will be available.
okay.
Several Warcries also now
More
have a new
buttons to
mechanic
push.
called Exert, which will make your next few attacks more powerful. Additionally, Warcries now take into account the power level of enemies rather than just how many are nearby. As a result, they will now be much more effective against bosses and other difficult monsters.
Uh-huh.
One of the new Warcry skills is Seismic
It's been
Cry.
overdue for
A fierce
a while.
bellow knocks back nearby enemies and taunts them. Seismic Cry grants a buff that makes it easier to stun enemies and exerts your next few slam attacks, giving them more area of effect and damage. Rallying Cry's rework aims at giving a lot more support damage potential. Previously, it granted
They
mana
seem interesting.
regeneration
I
and
wanna
damage scaling. It no
play with
longer
them,
grants
see.
mana regen, but instead it adds a percentage of your weapon's damage to nearby allies, depending on the power level of nearby enemies. It also exerts your next few
Oh.
attacks. Allies that can be buffed by Rallying Cry's added weapon damage can be other players or minions, such as those summoned by
Okay.
Herald of Purity.
Okay. We'll see. Like if it's like added general or like added to a
Now,
spell or
aside from
added
the
to
big
attacks.
stick melee, brand
Well, it's
skills
gonna
are
be
also
nice
seeing
for
some
minions.
major new additions and changes. GGG are aiming to make brand builds more interactive, while the most powerful Archmage brand builds will be getting nerfed. New options including 3 new brand skills are being added to the game to open up brand new playstyles. The first of these is Arcanist Brand. Like other
Arcanist.
brand skills, Arcanist Brand can be placed on the ground and it will attach itself to monsters. The kicker is that Arcanist Brand will trigger any other linked spells, so you'll now be able to turn almost any
Wow.
spell into a brand.
Okay, that's interesting. Because think of it like a glacier hammer, yeah, or glacier cascade. You see, so GC is a good single target, right? But now you can have 6 of them to clear with ease, and then attach 2 to the boss or something for single target, and you do not have to worry about standing still and like throwing mines or something. Like that's nice. Like that's basically what's the other one? Not the mines, the brand or totems. That's basically totems, but brands are immune to damage, right? They cannot be targeted. So you, your totems, like I played totems before, they die all the time, but this is gonna fix that issue. I don't know if anybody's gonna play totems anymore, spell totems, but
Even having it cast several different spells in sequence.
that's
Another new
interesting.
brand skill coming alongside Harvest is Penance Brand, which is a different take on the brand concept. When the Penance Brand attaches to an enemy, it starts building up energy and spreading it to other nearby enemies. When the brand is removed, the built-up energy explodes, dealing physical and lightning damage. Multiple Penance brands will be able to build up energy more quickly, and the design of the skill will let you trigger explosions
We need to
through
see the
brand
numbers
recall,
to
enemies
see if it
dying, or brands expiring.
really good, but like I don't feel like the mechanic for this one is that interesting.
Other new skills and more details on reworks will be coming over the next couple of weeks. Now, while Cluster Jewels last league shook up passive skill tree builds, the core passive skill tree hasn't seen a lot of change in a while. With Harvest,
Okay.
the passive tree will be blooming with new opportunities. In addition to new two-handed weapon support and Warcry nodes, there will be more support for other recent mechanics that don't currently have a lot of passive tree presence. The passive skill tree will also be getting new keystone passives,
What,
and
diagnostic?
some keystones from Timeless Legion jewels
Oh.
are also being added to the core tree, such as the Agnostic. Legion jewels will also be seeing some changes as a result.
Interesting.
Path of Exile now has around 900 uniques in the game.
That's a
and
good
this
way to
expansion
go,
over
because like a
50
lot of people,
forgotten or lackluster
when you want
uniques
to
are
buy the
being
jewel, you
rebalanced or
don't know
reworked.
which
The
one
Moon
to
Bender's
buy.
new
But at the
unique
same time, the problem with that will be that now the notable is actually in a specific part of the tree. Part of the reason that the jewels were so amazing is that you can put them anywhere in the tree, right? But now, if something is like in a specific location, you have to travel to that. So I'm not sure how that's gonna work out. But definitely, like, they actually, this is them acknowledging, hey, we understand that you guys wanted to be able to trade and like get a specific notable. So
Axe is our first example. It
We'll
now
see
gives
how that's
100%
gonna
of your
work out.
physical damages added cold or lightning for a lot more damage potential. To make it truly unique though, it now triggers Lightning Warp when you attack an enemy, giving built-in teleport movement to skills like Lightning Strike or Spectral Throw, effectively creating a new playstyle. The unique boots Wake of Destruction were one of the first uniques added to Path of Exile, and they've really fallen behind. The chance to flee mechanic is actively bad, and it's been removed, and instead the boots now leave a trail of shocked ground when you move, allowing you to cause nearby enemies to take more
nice,
damage.
but I don't think that they're
Alongside
gonna
the
be
50 or
used
so
anymore.
reworked uniques, Harvest also brings a crop of 12 new uniques for us to farm for. Doriani's prototype is a big new unique chest armor that, quite frankly, scares me. Your lightning resistance will
Wow.
no longer affect you, with it instead being applied to nearby enemies. What this means is that
Oh.
you can run around with negative 60 lightning resistance to
That's actually pretty good, because keep in mind, like, all the boss enemies, like Shaper and stuff, do have the reduce effect of curses. So this is like a full curse, like if you can go to negative 60 or something. But as armor, now that's
greatly
gonna be an
enhance the lightning
interesting
damage enemies take.
balance.
To hopefully stop you from dying, the chest also allows your armor value to mitigate lightning damage in addition to physical. Though this is potentially a very powerful damage boosting chest,
Yeah.
getting enough armor to survive lightning damage may prove an interesting build challenge. Following our very apparent lightning theme for uniques today, I can also show the new unique Topaz ring, Storm Secret. This ring allows Herald of Thunder to trigger its lightning storm effect when you shock an enemy, and it also increases the frequency of the storm strikes. You could indeed wear 2 of these rings and become a serious avatar of the Tempest, but keep in mind that the ring also deals you 250 lightning damage
Oh.
whenever Herald of Thunder hits an enemy.
This is like the
Though
fire
I'm pretty
ring
sure some
for
creative
cast
players
when
will
damage
find some
taken.
ways of turning this drawback into an actual advantage. Herald of Thunder cast when damage taken
Oh, yeah.
wins, for example,
For
could be
sure.
something else. In other news, Delirium will be making its way to the core game, bringing the popular cluster jewels along with it.
Oh, nice.
Because
Okay.
Delirium was made to interact with other game mechanics,
We still
the
have to
chance
see
of
if they're
encountering the Delirium
gonna
mirror will be tied to the amount of other additional
make like
content
the
in the
different
area.
passives
So
stackable
stacking
or
endgame
not.
maps with a bunch of extra layers of content will increase the chances of the Delirium mirror appearing.
I see.
In the lead up to the expansion
So it's
launch
not
set
like
for June
1 in 10
19th,
maps,
you
it's
can also
like-
jump on and test the new Vulkan Renderer beta, which many players have already been reporting is giving solid performance increases. You can actually enable it right now from the graphics option. Know your first impressions on the idea of getting your hands dirty with Tron Gardening League in the comments.
Okay, that was interesting. Just what I was mentioning, so the usually like the different mechanics have like 1 in 10 chance of like spawning in a map, but now based on other mechanics, as many mechanics as you have, each one of them will add to that chance probably. So it's gonna be like 1 in 10 mechanics in the game in the map is gonna spawn mirror, which is gonna be interesting. Okay, let's go quickly over the passive Excel as well. The general discussions, life force. Let's look at these ones. Last 7.1 second, 78%, minus value when used. Interesting. So basically anytime that you use it, this is gonna reduce by 1%, or per map, or interesting. Basically you'll have a good Quicksilver Flask which you have to reroll every so often to go back to the original duration. Oh yeah, tribute to the goddess. In the Q&A they were mentioning there's going to be a specific a specific labyrinths. So I don't know what's the difference, like it wasn't really apparent, but that's what they were saying. The same thing with like the scarabs. Does not consume 6 then uses. Interesting. Not too impactful. Oh, T16 beachhead with 20 extra harbingers. They're usually 6. Interesting. These are gonna be really nice for XP. And this is pretty good. Change the stack of all. Evolve your garden. So this is the extract collector, condenser, which is gonna hold those for us, and disperser, which is gonna disperse it back. Okay. Couple of new bosses. Cool ice. Cool. Probably fire or chaos. Each one of them is gonna have its own team, but like they look really cool. I love it. Yeah, we'll have to take a look and see like the locations, and basically the passive skill tree overall is gonna be like interesting to look at. New war cries, new brands, the uniques that they showed us. Dream's gonna go core and render. Nice. I'm really excited for this league. It seems really cool. As I mentioned, I love the idea of getting new ideas, like doing something new and exciting. Like that's why we played Passive Exile for so long, because there's always something new, something exciting to play. And this seems pretty cool, especially the fact that this is a crafting this is gonna be a crafting league, means that you don't have to do like zoom through the map. You can do your own thing, craft your own thing. Crafting is always nice, especially these type of craft. It's gonna help players who wanna be less social, maybe play SSF, or who they don't wanna play the hideout game, basically, to do more by themselves, which is always nice. And the fact that they acknowledge that there needs to be some overhaul of the loot in general. They already acknowledge that they're moving toward it is really nice. I'm not sure if this is gonna be the right direction. I think so, but I'm not sure in long term this is gonna be like where we wanna go. But eventually, I wanna play the Passive Exile that when something dropped, you would be excited. That's like the goal for me, and you wanna idea it, you wanna do that thing, but we'll see. Yeah, it seems very exciting, and can't wait to play it. We still have to wait about a couple, like, 17 days or so, because of everything that's going on in the world. They probably have like they're a little bit delayed, but I really enjoyed, and hope you guys enjoyed as well. Thank you guys.